Good morning, FYI family. Good morning. It's Wednesday, April 27. Good morning to you guys. Welcome to FYI. And you're wondering, where is Sharon? Well, Sharon is in studio and he'll be joining us momentarily. So, welcome, guys. Remember to share the live stream. Let us know where you're joining us from. I see Gavin Liverpool is already on. Good morning, Gavin. I see Beatrice Selby is on. Good morning, guys. And Siobhan McDonald. She says a blessed good morning, everyone. And she's watching from New Jersey. So remember to share the live stream. Good morning, guys. Let us know where you're joining us from. Let us know what the weather is like in your neck of the woods. Sharon is here in studio with me. He's somewhere and he's going to be joining us momentarily. Alex Boom and Jennifer Babb says, good morning. Beatrice, good morning. I so appreciate you. Thank you. Michelle Liverpool Simon. Beatrice, the boss man, is around. He'll be joining us in a minute or two. Good morning, Wendy Rowland. It's such a beautiful day in Georgetown, Guyana. It's sunshine. It was a really, nice drive down to the studio. We are just so grateful to be alive and to be here and to have been able to open our eyes. It's not easy, but we are here and we are grateful. Sean Rodney says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Sean. Good morning, Pollyann Schultz. Good morning, Lennox Anderson. Good morning, guys. Just let us know where you're viewing us from. Carol Rollins says she's viewing us from Manhattan. Marlon King says, good morning, man. So where is Sharon? He's right here. He's going to be coming on in a minute. Shoy, hey, Shoy, how are you? Shoy says, good morning. Paul Danju says, good morning. George Anan. Claire, good morning, Claire Capel. Hey, Aliyah, I see Aliyah there. Good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us, Afia Cummings and Andrea Paradise. And Brent Mentor says he is joining us from Houston, Texas. And Chandani Bishnath. Hey, Chandani, good morning. Sharon says Mocha is in the house, and Sherry Baskin Greenwich is watching at us from Barbados. Chandrani says she's looking at us from Cotton Tree. How is it in Cotton Tree this morning, Chandrani? Is it sun shining? Is the sun shining there? Because it's nice. It's nice here in Georgetown. Janet Singh says she's viewing from Essequibo Coast. Sharon Glenn says love, respect, love and light to you too, my dear. Gloria Chester says good morning, Amanda. Vanessa says she's from South Rumvelt Park. Good morning, Vanessa. Good morning, good morning. Percy says good morning from Long Island. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. You may notice that I am alone at the table, but not for long, because we will be joined momentarily by the one and only Sharon Duncan. Joretha is still out. We miss her terribly, and she'll be back with us hopefully tomorrow. But there is so much going on. We have so much to cover. I mean, the morning news is, there's a lot happening. There's a lot happening. We're going to talk about the oil fine. And, the newspaper headline says, Exxon makes 3 more offshore finds. And the recoverable resources are now up to 11 billion barrels. Let that sink in as I take a sip of my tea. 11 billion barrels. And so Guyanese have mixed reactions, and we're going to talk some more about that when my co-host joins us. But let us know where you're joining us from. Share the live stream. Hey, Maureen. Maureen says she's safely back in Seattle. So, family, we are grateful for that. Maureen is safely back. Joyce Van Kooten, Lennox Anderson, Marlon. Sharon Marlon said, like, you got to look good before you come on the show.
Definitely. Definitely.
He's here. I'll tell you a secret about Sharon. Sharon is a little bit of a perfectionist. And so everything has to be just right before he, before he gets going. So he is taking care of some issues on the back end, and we are ready to rock and roll. There's a lot happening this morning, guys. And we're going to be covering it in the morning trend. We're going to be covering it with the big issue of the day. But we're so happy that you could join us this morning. The FYI family is really becoming a part of our own families. And so we are thankful for you guys. So just remember, as you come on, share the live stream and smash that emoji button so that our fellow viewers, our fellow Facebookers, all across the social media platforms can get credible information. And this is to remind you of our affiliate programs. At noon, we have our podcast Below the Belt. And at 8 this evening, Guyana time, we have In the Ring with the one and only Shara Duncan. We there. And so we are so happy to be able to bring you these programs throughout the day because we understand that informed citizens make informed decisions. And so, guys, let's know where you're joining us from. We want to be able to shout you out this morning. I see Sean Alexander. Glenford, you joined us. We missed you. I see Siobhan McDonald. She says it's pretty cold. And Miss Natalie Congreves. Thank you for joining us, guys, this morning. And let's know what you're having for breakfast. We're usually with our tea, and we are going to be talking to you about a number of issues this morning. There's a lot happening in St. Kitts and Nevis. There's a lot happening here at home. The headlines of the Kaichor News this morning they're very interesting. Glenlal Knox, visionless Guyanese leader, raps President Ali for focus on minor issues while ignoring the oil sector. And it talks about the President Ali boasts of 50 million monthly returns from supply boats, whilst Guyana pays 300 million in daily rental fees. Guys, the devil is always in the details. And so we're going to be coming to unpack, as our friend Randy Critchlow likes to say, some of this with you this morning. And then we're going to look at what they said. And we're going to be covering some of the topics that Stabrook News would have been covering this morning. As you know, the president of Guyana is currently in the UK. And so we are going to be looking at some of the events surrounding his visit. And we are going to be looking at some legal opinions. Look, there is just so much happening. And what we try to do at all times is to make sure that we research what we're going to say to you so that you can take it to the bank. And if we're not sure, we're going to say, let's check that out. And so, guys, remember to share the live stream. Remember to smash the emoji button. And we are going to get ready to go right into the morning trend. Good morning, Clifton Smith. Clifton says good morning to the FYI family. And I'm looking away from the camera because I have to be able to see the names. Hey, Aliyah. Aliyah says a lot of thieving is happening too.
Talk the things.
Talk the things, Aliyah. You know it. And we're going to be delving into some of those issues as well. And we have Donna David. Hey, Donna. Hey, Maureen. Maureen says she hopes he's not asked to give a few comments. Oh, he's getting better. He's getting better, isn't he? Good morning, Glenford. Good morning to Ms. Greenwich and Magnell Barrow and Sharon. Amabel, hey, Amabel, how is it in your neck of the woods? Elizabeth Graves Zandy and Stanislaus Washington. He always joins us from Sutherland, England. I hope you go see your visitor. Sharon, Aliyah says like you're now making your coffee.
Tell Aliyah, mind we, and now we business. By the way, that we business.
Good morning, guys. Share the live stream. Hi, Sharon Anthony. How are you? Sharon is here. He is here, and he will be joining us in a minute as we begin the morning trend. Sharon, you got come here by because
You answer a lot of questions.
I got too many questions to answer. Too many questions to answer. Guys, let us know what you're having for breakfast. Let's know what's happening in your neck of the woods.
Let it tell me that. Let it know that
And
we fast. We want to know what to eat here.
Can you hear him, guys? He's here.
Yes.
He's in the back here.
My mic is.
Oh, your mic is on. He's
My mic
mic'd
is
up,
on.
so I'm sure that you can hear him in the background. George Anand says Sharon isn't answering me. Sharon, George is saying.
Like all me knows a piece now. Oh shucks. Why they like that?
He says you're not answering him. Guys, remember to share the live stream. And we're just gonna.
They did well yesterday morning. I want you to listen. Please compliment them.
I must compliment
our
FYI family. I mean, the shares have moved considerably, and we are so grateful.
The morning audience getting up to it.
All it takes is a share. The FYI family, the ring family beating me,
They need to pick up the pace.
They gotta pick up the pace. Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, in the ring got all kind of 1.7 thousand shares and so on and so forth. We cannot
pick up the share, pick up the pace a little bit.
Have the in the ring family beat us. This is FYI.
Represent. we out here, people. Represent.
We are out here and we gotta represent. So share the live stream, guys. Lena Jacobs. Hey, Kim Walker. Kim, how are you? And Brenda Moore. Good morning, guys. Share the live stream and we're gonna be getting into so much. We're seeing that the Agri Ministry has signed over 1 billion in contracts. And there's a lot of discussion around about the equitable distribution of contracts and whether there is any set aside as is required by the Procurement Act for small contractors and for small businesses. I know under the previous administration, they introduced into the law that 10% of the contracts must be set aside specifically for small contractors. But we don't know if the boys are enforcing it this morning. And so these are some of the things that we're going to be talking about. So Tessa Waterman, Jean Williams, Don Erwell Cook, stay tuned. We want you to share the live stream so that when we do get into the topics, as many of you as possible have valid and credible information. And Sherrod is the sugar for the coffee. Sherrod, you are the sugar for the coffee. And Cheryl says that you must report post-haste. Indrani says she's having some ginger and lemon tea with roti and lamb curry here in Boston. Indrani, what is it? We haven't had breakfast yet. And so now you've set our stomachs churning. Lamb curry. Good morning, Patsy, Johnny. Clifton says, Sharon, don't come wrong. We funny. Show your face. Sharon, come and show your face.
We coming.
Come and show your face.
We coming.
I can't fend off the barrage anymore. Come show your face.
We coming. We there.
Right? Come and show your face. Lynette says, we there. We love this program. And we love and appreciate you.
Yeah.
Too. Our belief here is that we can come and spread some positivity in the morning, spread and bring valid and credible information to the people. And so, guys, let's keep this going. Let's share the live stream. And we are going to get into a morning trend.
Yeah, I know some folks in Barbados touch base with Jarita. Believe it or not, some folks touch base with Jarita.
So we're going to be seeing photos because
I vexed him.
Our own Jaretta, she was able to catch up with some of our FYI family
in Barbados.
There in Barbados. Basil says Sharon is putting on his make. Sharon says Sharon is putting on his makeup. Key Dowling says pace and power.
Let him mind we not be business.
Sharon says Sharon we not having it.
Mind we not be business.
Ta-da! The one and only.
Man's don't like
Avery Duncan is joining us
sugar
this morning.
Tea, so I had to make sure my tea got sugar. Man's, how are you doing, Daddy?
Good morning.
Very good morning to you.
It's good to see you again.
Yep. Good to be here, guys. Good to be here. Y'all settle down.
Classes in session.
Settle down. I want y'all know I vex. Man's can hold this thing like by yourself, Man's don't need me. Man's can hold a crowd by yourself.
People sure do need you.
Don't leave me.
Laverne.
Make sure I have my notes close.
Here we share it.
And then.
Either.
Guys, a very good one. Mansi, look good.
I feel the blessing.
Who are you wearing? Who are you wearing?
They man, Cliff and Arco.
Wag, Van Cliff. You know, somebody out of London, maybe. You know. What's the big story in London? I used to know.
Yes.
I used to know.
I hear that the president is in London.
We got a lot of stuff happening.
There's a lot happening.
Quite a few things happening. That's what we want to bring to you guys this morning. A lot of stuff happening in the news. And some of it should interest our listeners, our viewers. And I just love the fact we have folks that join us from all over the world, right home here in Guyana. And more those outlying areas, regions, and so on, coming in and tuning in. And
we're
happy with that.
Skeldon.
And, Paramakatoy, we got K2, you know, thanks to ITC. And, you know, that's the way we're going. Thanks to Kathy.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you. That's the direction we are going. And, you know, I'm really happy that all of the folks join us morning after morning. It means something to us.
It does.
It means something to us that we can come here and touch base like this. The power of social media, the real power of social media. Wherever around the world you guys join us from, we're just one big family. Clifton Smith says, come on, Shay, don't spoil it. Of course. Of course. Right now, once we catch a cheap ticket with Manza, we head to Barbados.
Barbados. Beach life.
I'm telling you. Good to have you guys. But, you know, as Rita was saying, as Amanda was saying, a lot of stuff happening in the morning papers. Rita down there in Barbados having fun. We working hard. That's how it is, you know. 20% of people do 80% of the work. Right? Even when she's here. 20% of people, 20% of the work. That's how it goes. But, you know, we're happy Twitter is going to be coming back sometime during the course of the day.
Yes. Y'all hurry up and come back.
Yes. Yeah. Not because of she, you know, she thinks we want. Bring me things. Bring me things with papers, you know, how any little handouts and so forth. Bring me things.
Don't share any prags. Share any prags.
Nice guy. He's true anymore. We can't survive without the prags. You can't bring something like overseas. Don't come. Amanda, I must let you know, the ties. Amanda brought me back some ties when she came back. The prags. The ties were a hit. Everybody said they like these ties. Me even want to come out today. If I tell you, you want to come out today, they were such a hit. So y'all know, I told you I had a friend overseas and I used to buy all the things. My friend bring things to me.
We got to be our brothers and sisters keeper. We got to look out for each other.
Yeah, especially this
we have to look out for each other.
Those ties are very expensive too. So if you are saving one tie 3 weeks in a row, don't worry with that. Don't let it fret you. Don't make that study. Like Glenn says, don't let it focus on the little things.
Minor matters. We can't major on the minors.
My uncle is overseas. And he says to my aunt, he noticed I wearing one shirt, steady. I said, make it right. Make it right.
You're going to talk about the problem.
Let me fix problems. Let me fix problems. I know we just.
Lennox says, please tell the president to stop trying to hug me.
Every time.
We can tell him. When we see him next, we will tell him.
We out here looking for friends. Soon as he see me up, jumpy board, wings spread wide. Mia, come on, let me conduct myself properly, man. Token cave, let me conduct myself properly. So I'm happy. I'm happy. If the country advances, it's to all of our benefit. And if we continue to slide backwards, it's all of our detriment. That's the tragedy with it. All are involved, all are consumed. The late great Martin Carter said that. All of us are involved. We can't escape this. Right? Martin Luther King says we are in an inescapable mutuality. Right? All of us are involved in this.
And I think more than anything else, COVID showed us that. And there's a sector of society that says, well, as long as it's me and me on okay, we ain't really.
Yes, we ain't fretting.
But
we ain't fretting. I had a chance to really grieve.
One man doorstep.
I had a chance to really grieve COVID. We lost some people in COVID, and they were coming so quick. I had a chance to grieve. I grieve differently.
Our dear friend Imran.
Right? I was coming there.
That.
It might take me. I feel different. I'm going to tell you the truth. Should be different, right? It might take me 3 years, and then one day you just see I crying. You think it's something in that day. You know, it's 3 years ago. That thing. I said,
You know,
this is the time
a
now.
friend of mine was saying that for the first time, they felt as if they understood what Bob Marley was saying.
Mhm.
Good friends we've had, good friends we've
Yeah,
lost along the
yeah,
way. And when you look at that, it's like,
yeah,
wow, you can sit
yeah,
down and you can enumerate
yeah,
literally good friends that you've lost along the way. And so
yeah,
COVID has changed our
yeah.
lives.
And we change, you know. Some we want change.
But have we learned the
No,
lessons
no, we haven't.
though?
We haven't. That all of us are humans,
That we're
right?
human
I
and
lost so
that,
many folks at my local church, for instance. I didn't have a
yes,
chance to grieve because it's
it's a
every week
lot.
is somebody. Imran went.
Mm-hmm.
Mondale Smith was a colleague of mine.
Mondale, I
Mondale
mean,
went.
it's,
Quite a few
yeah,
folks.
yeah.
My grandmother-in-law went also during that period. You know,
It's a lot. It's a
it's a
lot.
lot,
It's a
a
lot.
lot,
It's a
and
lot.
you couldn't shoulder it all, and so you had to seal yourself and say whatever comes. And sometimes you wonder, are we going to make it out? You know, one time I asked my wife, "You think we can make it out here?
Yeah.
You think we can make it out?" Because some people think they'll make it out and they'll make it
Did
out.
they make it? And you know, the sad part about it is that I think we're in danger of wasting the tragedy of COVID.
Yes.
And when I say wasting the tragedy, what I'm talking about is generally things like these must make you introspect.
Yeah. And that's why we had some missed opportunities. We could have done some big things. I ain't talking projects only. Big things in terms of how we came together as a people,
As a
Amanzo,
people.
right? Reach out to the opposition, reach out to the government. How can we work through this? But we still in we silos all through that.
And you know, this is where we keep saying the opportunities were lost. Invite the opposition onto the task force. Let's demonstrate to the people of Guyana that this really is a national problem and we are looking to solve it nationally.
Yeah.
We lost that opportunity.
And now
that would have been a golden opportunity to just mobilize Guyana
and demonstrate one
beyond race, beyond class, and to just, because we all bleed the same blood, we feel the same pain when we lose a loved one, and the government simply squandered that opportunity.
Yeah.
But you know,
maybe we'll have a time of national healing and reconciliation. You know, we have to have that. You know, it reminds me of a young woman that was on the podcast over the weekend, and one of the things she was telling us, Savitri might be looking at us right now. One of the things Savitri was telling us that she was recruited by a fella, one Victor, and he had asked her, you know, to be on social media out there to say nasty things about the former government and the coalition people. And she wanted no part of that any longer, but he was kind of now bullying her, right? And she came on to say, you know, you can't even get redress from the police.
But isn't that such a beautiful thing, though? That she came to herself and realized that I could do better than this man. Like, why am I being an instrument for hate and
which is what she said. I don't want to be part of this life anymore. And she said, you know, and it made me think of national reconciliation. You know, you got to be able to forgive people and say, you know what, once you want to turn over a good leaf, and that's how you build countries, you know.
But let me say, I am all for reconciliation, but I believe that we got to confront the hard truths first. There can be reconciliation without truth.
In the process. Right?
And we have got to start dissecting. You know, there was a time that I was accused of being racist when people took some words that I said and tried to paint me a racist and whatever else. But what mattered to me was that, you see, they don't know that I come from a very mixed family, right? And so they don't know that my family got Indians, we got Portuguese, my grandmother is half Amerindian, so I have a whole Amerindian heritage. And the support of those people around me meant so much, like my childhood friends. Because I grew up in the quarantine, I grew up in a mixed village. There's this one particular friend that I have, he will remain nameless, but he's Indo-Guyanese. And every day for, it would have been maybe 7 years, from nursery school to standard 4, he would pass, he had to pass my house to walk to school, because in the countryside you walk to school. He would come, he would stop and wait for me, and we'd walk to school together. In the afternoon, he'd wait for when I'm ready and he'd walk me back home, make sure I'm home, and then then we're home. And those are the types of friendships. And so when that attack came and these people came and said, no, we know you. We grew up with you.
Yeah.
And we know that is a spin. You know, that meant a lot. I make the point to say that our community matters.
Yeah.
And
but people make assumptions all the time.
I really want to salute her.
Yeah, she said,
I really want to salute her that she said, you know what, I am not going to be a part of
we can work with that.
The wickedness and
that
the anger.
Is, but it's insightful in a sense because, man, so when you see some things, we always say, is the trolls. Really true. There are trolls there. People who are being paid to come and to say nastiness.
And to spew hate.
To say nastiness.
Yep.
And that being said, we make a lot of assumptions about people. That's one of the challenges you have. People, saw a comment, heard it being spin, didn't think through it, and then they say, oh, you're like that. In my family, my immediate family, my aunt in the US, who and I are very close.
Yes.
Narain.
That I know her well. Yes.
Right? Her surname. She's married Narain. My sister is married Pandey. I have an aunt who's married Singh. Right? I have nephews who, when you look at them, you wouldn't think they have any trace of black in them.
Yeah.
They look Indian as Indian could be. Right? So we mix up as a people, and that is why what you said yesterday morning registered. When these guys come here, the diplomatic corps, yes, it's what race problem.
What race problem are you talking about?
Man, so the like, hold on. You read that, man. So I can turn it.
Guys, this is what I'm talking about.
The E affected me. Like we cooking in this house here.
The E.
What are we having today, man?
On the book.
We have an H.
On our cookbook.
We have an H.
Affecting Cherry.
That's what we have in H.
And so he has to get up and he has to fix
that
it.
E there is affecting me a little bit.
This is the perfectionism
that
I'm talking.
That E there affected me. I don't know why. It just H for high. H for high, man. Principal. That's how we go. H for high.
Eagle. I know what's happening. E is for eagle. You think about the harpy eagle and then you think about the jumpy bird. Which means you gotta change it.
J for jumpy bird. We come around to that, folks. Folks, you have to pull up a little chili, man. Things can't say bad. A man is rich. He like brockish.
So Sharon is complaining because I don't put a lot of sugar when I volunteer to make their tea.
Like what is tea? I always thought tea, you have the components of, you must have some components of tea. Got a little sugar, little flavoring, and I mean, if you dip tea bag in hot water, that can't be tea.
Of course it's tea.
Come on, folks. Come on. Come on. If you dip tea bag in, that's not tea. Right?
It is tea.
Right? You tell me if you soak little rice in water, that's food. Come on now. I don't want to pretend. It's definitely tea bag. That can't be tea.
This is how we register this fair, folks.
Tea have to have components, right? Ingredients. This is tea.
Thank you. Hold on. Maureen says tea is best without anything. There you have it. Thank you.
Tea is best
Paul Singh says there's only one race, and that's the human race.
Yeah.
Paul, you are so right.
And that's why I said tea is tea, the same thing. Man, you're crying, girl. Come on. It don't work. Release that.
This is how I always have a good laugh. And Sharon is making me ruin.
Get some tissue.
Ruin, yes, please. Sharon is making me ruin my makeup.
Father.
But
guys,
you
have the tissue finish it? Here you go, man. Put it in change. H-I-J-K, like double alphabet.
Guys, we are going to attempt this morning to get into the trend. The morning trend. Come, Sharon, come sit down.
Let me go down the road. Let me catch your foot and go down the road, as Jamaican say. Pick up your foot and go down the road. We get into it? I think we will at some point in the morning, guys. Good to have each and every one of you here. J for Jumpy Bird, full stop. All right? And I think we're starting with some news from around the region. And here goes, guys. It's going to come sometime. FYI. It's going to shop. I think we're starting in St. Kitts and Nevis. Yeah, because the guys are moving a no confidence motion
against PM Harris.
Yeah, and we spoke about this yesterday, that the majority of the parliamentarians had complained to their, I think they have a governor general there,
Yes,
and saying that they no longer have confidence.
Yeah.
And now they see, I thought he had placated the situation because he had an address to the nation, he was talking about some challenges that he was having, and so on. It seems much the same way in which it was happening in Barbados. And Mia was having some trouble, people were grumbling and so on. She went the other way. She called a snap election, kind of got a fresh mandate for the people. I don't know.
But it's amazing how we are able to look at how this happened in Guyana with the APNUAFC administration. And frankly, the APNUAFC administration was pound for pound 100% better than what we are seeing now. Not perfect, but far better for Guyana and Guyanese. And it is amazing to me that there's no one on the PPP side that would even in their conscience say, you know what, I don't like what is happening. And so it brings me to the point of I wonder how much, when is enough enough? Like when will we appeal to our consciences to be able to speak out? I mean, I see Vindi is gaining her voice as it relates to women's issues and speaking up and so on, but that is not enough. The reality is that for evil to prosper, or what does it say? For evil to thrive,
to prevail.
Good men must do nothing. And so the good people of Guyana have to start raising their voices. I guess that's the point that I want to make from this. It is so interesting when you cast your mind back to Charandas Prasad and the no confidence motion. And he was talking about, he did it for the sugar workers. What, Charandas?
And it's 30 pieces
Charandas, what are you saying now?
Yeah.
What are you saying now, Charandas?
You see, that's why they kept him out of parliament again, on the other side. They're silly. They know what
are you saying now?
Yeah.
Was
it worth it?
Was it worth it?
It's worth it.
He must have sleepless nights because, yes, he would have collected his 30 pieces of silver. But if he, as he professed to love and care for these sugar workers,
he should resign as High Commissioner.
I mean, you must be having nightmares if you have a heart, Charandas.
Yeah, because they were going to make sugar great again. They were going to make sugar great again.
They were going to make sugar great again. And this is what we were talking about yesterday. These people who appear to care about the people, but only have their selfish interests at heart. He there living higher off the hog in India now, on the taxpayers' money.
Correct.
On them same sugar workers' taxes.
Correct.
And where are they now? What are they left?
Correct. And incidentally, during that protracted period and before, the Jagdeo-led opposition then spent 5 years being critical of the government. Now they're like critics and the naysayers, and they spent 5 years being exactly that. Right?
Look, the role of an opposition is to, I'm ready to say, oppose, propose, oppose, and depose. And that is the role of the opposition. The reality is, however, they lied to the people of Guyana. There's no two ways about it. They lied to the sugar workers, lied to them.
Correct.
These people don't know how they're going to be employed. And then they're lying about the sugar targets. But we're going to expose them. Hold on.
That's where we are.
It's just unfortunate. You have a whole swath of people. And it bothers me because I'm from Region 6. I know my brothers work on the sugar estate. You understand? A lot of people don't know that about me. Used to be riding, the trucks that will take the sugar workers to work because they see you on the road, they pick you up, drop you off, depending on which village you're going to. So the notion of sugar is integrally tied into the fabric of the sugar belt. And it is so callous. You know what it is for somebody to come and promise me that, yes, everything will be all right. Yes, we're going to fix it. I put my trust in you, and then you turn around and you shaft us.
Give me this vote. We can make it right.
Yeah.
We can make it right.
Yeah, and so those people are distressed. They're deeply distressed. But the question is, are they deeply distressed enough to, what are you going to do about it? Like, what are you going to do about it? These people were promised employment. The plan that the AP and the AFC had to right-size sugar would have seen them getting 10 acres of land.
Yeah, and some of them did get it. Some of them did get it.
They started getting
Yeah.
it over ways. What did the government
Yeah,
do?
take it back.
They took it back. You
Gas to
understand?
gas to
Because
shore.
the reality of it is that this government doesn't, they want people dependent on handouts.
Correct.
You see, the minute they
Correct.
give those sugar workers their own land and the ability to plant those crops that we were saying, you plant this, we will arrange export markets for them. Things like peppers, which huge demand on the international market, soursop, and these types of things. They would have been able to exercise a level of independence that the PPP doesn't. They don't
Yeah.
want them to be able to exercise.
And you know, it's the same thing that they're going after. You know, we talked yesterday morning, for instance, about comparing the decade of development against their
the fourfold
path to what do you say, transformation. That, you know, they talk now, for instance, about development of the non-oil sector, right? Because the thought is, the school of thought is that the oil sector is running away with all the attention, the time, the focus, and everything else. But we can't do that at the expense of viable other sectors that we have, which is what we were doing, right-sizing sugar, putting people in areas in which they can function. Everybody can work in the oil rig.
That is what the Dutch disease is about, where the dangers that are posed to the economy because the non-oil sectors become neglected, they fall by the wayside, and then the economy becomes dependent on a very unstable thing like oil.
Yeah.
Oil prices fluctuate depending on if there's a war here.
Yeah.
One simple announcement can send the cost of crude down.
The blessing that we have had is that we have been a country with great bounty. Right? Bauxite, timber, you name it, diamond, manganese, you name it. We have been a blessed country in that regard. The curse is that we seem not to have been able, and more so on the PP government, to be able to manage that effectively over the years. You know, that's a challenge.
And this is where the trolls fall into cognitive dissonance. Guyana's current state can be placed at the foot of a government that was in there for 3 years effectively.
And you forget 23
and you forget the whole 23 years. It's like you get a 26-year-old child and you're telling me that where he lived in the last 3 years condition him to what he is.
Yeah, I just want my wife and I don't have to fit. I'm just teasing you.
But it is something that we have to start thinking about as Guyanese.
Yeah. If I judge 5 years so harshly, why ain't judging?
Why ain't judging the 23 years? That set Guyana up on this path.
Yeah.
But the people of Guyana have to demand more. There's no reason that people should be hungry in this country.
Yeah. But you know, those folks with the cognitive dissonance, they're the folks who, you know, they go to the doctor and the doctor say, you know, smoking and drinking is harmful, or they read, for instance, they read smoking and drinking harmful, and they give up reading.
Yeah.
So when people like, you know, independent people like Sabbath News and so forth, the analysts and so on, talk about sugar failing years ago under the PPP. As a matter of fact, when the Avenue AFC came in, their CEO, Gaisuko CEO, in May of 2015, told the government the industry was bankrupt. Gaisuko had no money.
And so
them boys give up reading that.
They inherited a bankrupt industry. But
that was the starter.
You know, we the people are to be blamed. Because fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah.
But we
and them boys believe somewhere in the 5 years, this current crop had a epiphany, they had a catharsis, they had a transfiguration, and somehow, you know, they had turned angels, and you know, the same people who run everything into the ground, sugar and everything else.
The turn jumpy.
The turn jumpy, boy. It's true. The turn jumpy. But that's the challenge we have. Amanda, you spoke about this other issue here as you began the program this morning. 3 more oil discoveries. We kind of numb to this now. I don't want to pretend it means something to me. We kind of numb to it now.
The average Guyanese sees this. And the reality is that they roll their eyes because, so what does that mean?
3 more oil discovery. It's like we got 33, and it doesn't make a difference. I think 3 more gonna make a difference.
What does that mean for me? I mean,
do I say I can push my bank card, Montana, and I got a 1 million extra sitting there? No. Right? We can't even afford a milk here. Sugar in this tea.
You know, it.
You can make a, you can make a difference.
You know, but
What
you
does it
know,
mean?
it doesn't mean, and the IRI poll showed it. That Guyanese
The
really,
majority.
they don't really
Right?
see how this
Well,
thing
cognitive dissonance, them by give up reading now.
impacts
Them by and
our
reading poll.
lives.
Poll
No, the
incredible.
poll incredible.
Right? And I heard Aubrey Norton, leader of the PNCI, leader of the opposition, leader of APNU, made a point yesterday. They were the ones championing the IRI when they first came.
They were the ones
Right?
championing the
Because, you
IRI.
know, they felt they were riding on this propaganda of rigging and all of that, forgetting Gokul Voodoo, forgetting Rignat was a whole song
Yes.
written off of their the former Commissioner Dude Not Sing. Rig not. Why you rig the election? The older folks don't know that.
But the reality is, and this is where you have to confess,
Yep.
that their Goebbelsian propaganda
Mhm.
works.
Mhm.
The people do their propaganda.
We bad like them.
And you know,
Yeah.
watching people that lie just
Russia train and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. And so this is why, and I'm coming back to why we take time to do this, because Sharon, if we could just inform 10 people
Yeah.
and hope that they inform a 10 more,
Mhm.
for me, I would be content
Mhm.
that we make an impact,
Mhm.
that we are able to bring information to
Mhm.
the people. I
Mhm.
was talking with someone yesterday, and he was relaying to me about the Ukraine and Russia conflict. And he was saying to me, he had interactions with some Ukrainians, and he has never seen such patriotism. Some of them were living in the US, but their love of their country.
Mhm.
He said a lot of them went back home to fight in the war
Mhm.
because they said they would rather die than to go back to what the USSR was.
Mhm. I wonder how many people come back home to fight in a war here with the PPP.
No, but that
Yeah.
sense of, you know what, we have seen
Yeah.
firsthand what it can do, and we're not prepared
Yeah. And that is
to
why
suffer it.
each of us, Samantha, must fight against going back to pre-2050. We must fight against that era. And while we fight against it, then by fighting to bring it back, because all of the elements, all of the character of that period, the troubles coming right back to us.
And worse, let me tell you something. I think people could forgive the PPP if they had come back to government and attempted to rule for all Guyanese. But you don't see that. You see a far more dangerous thing. You see this effort to crush and humiliate their political opponents. To crush and humiliate not only their political opponents, but Guyanese who will not bend to their will.
Dissidents. Yeah.
And that is a dangerous thing.
Yeah.
Because it means what they're trying to do is to quiet dissent.
Yeah.
They want to humiliate, they want to excoriate, they want to humiliate and crush anybody.
Yep.
And that is a dangerous thing.
Yep.
Ruling in the interests of the people is one thing, but being corrupt and then wanting to crush dissent.
Yeah. Which brings us to this other issue we have. So these folks opening up gas, oil and gas related business on the East Bank recently, and kudos to them. Kudos to these folks. But what the Prime Minister said was interesting. What he said was interesting. He said economic prosperity will filter down to Guyanese, right? Will filter down to society. The Prime Minister saying that. And when we touched on this issue last evening in our affiliate program In the Ring, I must confess, I believe in people making money, right? People don't go into business for make a loss. You must make money. And if that's what those guys want to do, I have no trouble with that. And I said equally, when I making me money, a man's making she money, right? Y'all don't worry about that. Y'all don't bother with that. The problem is when they can trickle down. Because we had, how much? 33 oil fines. This thing can trickle down. 3 more. That's why we say we numb to it now. Right? On the day that is happening, on the day Prime Minister opening that, you have blackout whole day.
Sharon,
When
like,
they can trickle down?
Sharon,
It's 2 years now we're pumping it.
I can't begin to. I mean, when you hear things like that, you must understand how backward we are as a nation. Study after study after study. And I made this point in my budget presentation. They indicate very clearly that trickle down economics.
Don't work.
It doesn't work.
Yeah. So he's hoping that somehow it goes down. It will filter down eventually, right? It will filter. That is a challenge. But we have poured billions into Gaisuku, and the result is holding back. And they don't seem to understand. If you have an incompetent manager, you could give me 50 kilowatt generator. If you don't know how to operate it, it's just an incompetent manager with 50.
Magnify his incompetence.
Yeah.
You know, it just magnifies their incompetence. But Charity, the burning question and the abiding question is, how long will the people of Guyana suffer?
That is a challenge. You see, their worldview, the guys on the other side, is that if things aren't working, you fire the people. Right? But in business, it's fire the top leadership of the company, bring in new leadership, reinvigorate people, move things along.
You can't do that when the top leadership is your friend and crony.
Yeah.
Y'all are a part of this cabal and this corrupt circle, and everybody got secret for Matty, and so nobody want to step on nobody's foot. You can't bring order to that situation.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah, that's a challenge we have. That's a challenge. You know, there is this one woman. She was working one afternoon late, and she came out of the office, and she didn't come to her boss. He was by the shredder in the office with some documents. And, you know, she went to help him, and she pushed the stuff in the shredder, and he said, thanks, I need 3 copies. Right? That's the kind of that's the kind of leadership.
I mean, you know.
That's the kind of leadership we have. Right? Now you're gonna fire she because you say, hey, you're kidding with it.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You're gonna find the woman.
We have trickle-down economics.
It won't work. It won't work.
And for the prime minister of a country, and I want you needs to understand. I want y'all to understand how dangerous that is.
Yeah.
Because if Harvard and Yale and all of the top economists in the world will say to you that trickle-down economics will not work.
Man, so how small businesses made out yesterday? All them hours of blackout. You know, you got a little business. You're trying to eat a bread in this country, as them might say. You're trying to eat a bread. How you make out yesterday? Right? Whole day. If you got a little fridge, you depending on to keep your little produce and so on. Whole day blackout. If your things spoil, who's compensating? Right?
You know what somebody said to me? I was talking with somebody overseas. And they said, but when you look at Guyana, the people are going around. Like they seem to be not having an issue because other countries, if the people are unhappy, you know. And if the people are suffering, you know. He said, so it's so difficult. When you look into Guyana, you see a bunch of people going to work, they're going about their business. We had Dexter Daps.
This
so when you look in, you don't see a people who are sick. And that is such a valid observation.
Yeah.
Right? And so maybe people are not taking us seriously because as Guyanese, we appear to be going along quietly.
Yeah. You know, yesterday was a countrywide shutdown because last night we did in the program and the podcast too. We were asking people, you know, where are blackout?
As far as Skeldon.
Yeah.
Was it the DBIS?
Yeah. Whole system. I mean, like, what is it now?
System.
You know, why I said I like that business people going to make money. That's what you want to do. Fair enough. But then businessmen can got money for buy a big generator. They switch over. Some of them have the grid going solar because they know the environment.
Yep.
But the little man in the street could barely afford to pay the little light bill when the month got much more to go solar and generator and all of that.
And they're coming to disconnect with a quickness.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Their inefficiency and all that. But you owe them to this. I mean, because when you have a system when you get blackout, you get a rebate. Right? You get a little check in the mail. Sorry.
Excuse me.
Right? A little credit.
Got to collect a couple million in
you know, like
salary.
how the telecommunication, the phone companies used to do it. If you got a little blackout in the system, they used to send you a little free credit. You know, we can credit you 1,500 to next month thing. We can credit you at 2,000. Sorry for the blackout. You know, they got countries and see blackout in 25 years. It's 25 years we're trying to solve not having blackout. I mean, this thing has actually been solved in other countries.
Yeah. But, you know, and David Patterson came pretty close. I mean, come now. Talk for rain and talk for sun. During the the 3 effective years of the AP and the FCI. My God.
Yeah, but look the intellect we bring to the National Assembly. When David is speaking, they talk about bangles, bracelet, bed sheet, right?
Yep.
And people who really know about bed sheet and who
Yeah.
brought up pushing cocaine, well, I know they go silent and they one now.
Yeah.
Then go silent and one now.
It's really, I think as a nation though,
Yeah.
we just have to do better, man.
Yeah.
We just got to do better in terms of holding the government accountable.
Yeah.
And I know people like, well, what are you all as the opposition doing? There's 31 of us in that National Assembly, right?
Yeah.
And you know, history is important. When you look back at all the major movements and markers in terms of breakthroughs in good governance, it was a concerted approach. You had the labor unions demanding more. You had civil society demanding more.
Yeah.
Where are the labor unions?
Yeah.
Why are they so silent
Yeah.
in the face of the abuse of their constituents?
And you know what, Amanda? Sometimes it's not always working hard, it's working smarter. Because if this morning, for instance, you and I had gone on the street with a placard, right? Over 800 persons would not have heard us.
Right.
Right? If we call a meeting at some part of the city, 800 people wouldn't turn up. Right? But using technology, we're able to talk to
thousands of people simultaneously.
Thousands of people.
All over the world.
So this is part of that front too.
And this is what people say, yeah, sit down, you're talking. Yes, because you have to bring information to citizens. Citizens must know and understand what they are struggling for, what they are struggling against. And they must understand that I have a vested interest in this. Yo, I can't, how am I feeding my family? And why do I need to sit down and take it?
You cannot make good decisions without good information.
Good information.
Yeah,
me know what kind of information, Mark. Is my name? What the PM? Mark Phillips. God, that he would say. I forget the name.
So consequential.
That trickle down economics works. What books is he? What is he reading?
What books? What are you talking about, man? Don't vex me now.
Why are you all so silent?
Don't vex me.
Why are you all so silent? You know, why is Patrick Yard so silent? The head of those unions. I noticed Mark Light says, time for talk done. Well, Mark, we hope that you are serious.
Correct is right.
We hope that you are serious. This thing is going on for too long.
Correct is right.
Public servants, my God, 3.5% increase effectively. And the inflation is at 12%. You have not even given public servants enough money to cover inflation. Food inflation in particular. Hey, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? But they sit there, the opposition. You pay the union dues every month. Every month you pay the union dues. What are they doing about it?
If they give us those dues, we could do that.
I mean, look, and this is where you see, and this is why they're trying to go after Trevor Ben and the GPSU Credit Union, because look at what he's doing over there. They get a 15% increase. They have allowed the collective bargaining process to work. They got a 15% increase, and guess what? Paternity leave. I mean, how forward thinking and innovative.
And I've been made to understand they're working on a system where you don't have to go if you get a loan at the credit union to fetch out money for people to rob you. You can get a credit union card and push it in any ATM.
There you go.
My Lord.
There you go.
My Lord.
Forward thinking
but you know
leadership.
What? You know what? It's a place where we are as Guyanese. Man, sir, some things affect us on some levels we don't even understand, you know. And a level says that we don't deserve the right. We don't deserve the. Why they come here? They come and see this place falling apart, and they trying to fix it up.
Like how dare you fix it? How dare you fix it? Like, you know, why you must fix it?
Giving house loan and car loan and all of that.
Can you imagine?
They just come and they think there's it.
Check them out, guys. Trevor Ben and his team, they're doing a wonderful job at the credit union. They've been able to professionalize the outfit. And the government trying to interfere with it, but we're watching y'all. because anything that they can't control, they try to
and
break up.
And you know what has the attention of the Guyana Public Service Commission right now? What we say in the program. What I say in the ring. They had a whole meeting last week, Amansa. People called a whole meeting because something I said on my program. Right? And who leaking this information? That's the concept. Now how we can sit down and move this country forward. Folks, there's a way in which you lead. You can tweak as you go along, but you have to have a direction.
Yep.
Right? This is true north for us, and we go in there. We got some naysayers, but we know from experience, we know from the studies that we've done that this is the direction we should be heading. We can tweak every now and again. That's why we've been saying here, we're coming up to half year, we got to tweak. You know, our plan. Have we achieved the half year mark yet? How we go along and so on. But generally, right, you're going to keep going in a particular direction. Right? They're doing that, you know. What are they saying, but what are you thinking here? You got to lead the organization.
Yep.
Lead it.
And look, Irfan keeps dropping the ball. I don't even know if he got the ball, but okay.
So you said Irfan don't have balls? They're going to... moving on. The IMF talking to us about, sir. Are we listening? Right? The IMF is saying to us, and again, it goes into all that we're saying. They're predicting some of the regional growth. And I think Guyana is pegged at a 20% GDP growth for this year. And Trinidad is perhaps the second highest with 16%. Right? But again, Amanza, we are numb to these things. Right? We are numb because we have been chronicling here what lots of the experts are saying, that 20% GDP growth don't mean nothing to the man on the ground. Right? Because we know the bulk of that is the oil and gas sector, bringing that in. Right? That is not the other sectors you've been pointing out. Rice. Sector.
And as Joretta was pointing out in her budget presentation, all of the non-oil sectors have declined under the PPP. Because they're paying attention. Because guess what? They want where the action is and the money is. And Jack Dio has the temerity to come to the guy and probably say, oh, you will not reap the benefits of oil. No, but he and he buys them reaping it right now. The bank account fatso right now. Meanwhile, they get a mother right now in 63 village, a single mother that don't know how she feeding her children. She boiled her last pint of rice this morning. Or she used her last flour for make sada roti this morning, and she ain't sure what happening after.
And that is real. You know, a mother called me as you were that just yesterday morning, and what she said was so hurtful to me. She was saying, you know, could you highlight this? As a daughter working with a security firm, they aren't remitting her NIS, but they're deducting it, and they terminated her employment, but they don't want to pay her for the month that she's worked. Now, people don't understand how people get by in this country, and I'm always amazed on how people do it on so little. Can do so much. She's saying, you know, and all that happening, and they just got it like. So I don't even know how I'm eating today. She said, my pension when the month comes, it's me, my daughter, and I got my little grandson. Right? My pension is 28,000 per month. And they got to do. Right? They got to do for me. So it's real. The struggle is real. So what 20% GDP mean for them people? The same thing 50 oil fines mean. Right? You're feeling it.
You see an increase in crime. You'll see an increase in desperation. Because look, there's not even a national plan.
Man, so let me tell you desperation.
For youths. There's not a national plan to get our youths off of the street.
As we highlighted in our program last evening, a bus breakdown in North Road, the passengers and driver came out to see what mechanical problem they were having. So men ride up and rob them. So man said, the moral story is, if your vehicle breaks down, please stay inside and call for help. Don't step outside and try to change you. I'm begging you. Like, them pearls look expensive, and the shirt you got there. I'm begging you. And it wasn't high risk Saturday. It was just a normal day of the week.
You know, and
this
is the reality of what it is. But Irfan will dismiss it as, oh, the critics and their thinking and so on and so forth. Meanwhile, critics. He's, you know, moving around in his siren and so on, and he's entitled to that. You're the president.
But there's been an upsurge in that. I'm happy that you mentioned that, because If in the last administration they had 5, they got now 15.
Yeah.
And 20, everybody got guards. And like, I know who want to do some people something. Right? When you see a man like Harry Gill, who want to do Harry Gill something? I mean, like, who is a Harry Gill?
But you know what?
Kill over 20
Harry
security.
Gill knows that based on what he has done, people might want to do something.
Oh.
Right? You already got time with Harry Gill, but Harry Gill knows the mischief that he involved in. You know, I need security because I do some stuff and they say,
Oh, I see.
let me. So,
a sus.
You see what I'm saying?
Citation. A sus citation. Look what happened. I see why you went PC. I see why he's a PC girl. Right? The IDB has given the Ministry of Education 27 million US to recover learning losses during COVID-19. Well, this our money is for that thing. We still taking longer,
from this is the point. What
is the
money from the NRF
and budget and so on for? What's that for?
Now these loans, mind you, we're gonna have to pay it back.
Right. It's your children, you got
your children, you got paid back.
Daughter that to come, she got the thing, 2 daughters, right? Your children and so on. Those to come. Gotta pay back. It's a lot of money.
No. But you know, seriously, guys, why you need a $27 million loan right now for learning loss? Mm-hmm. What was the budget for the Ministry of Education? Mm-hmm. How much billion they collect from the Natural Resource Fund? Mm-hmm. But we borrowing money from the IDB.
And that's just one of the many borrowings. And that's been pointed out by all the analysts. You know, I say a whole spread in Chronicle the idea about don't listen to these analysts and, you know, and so on. And, you know, I shared the Chronicle with because you got some people, mama guy as doctors out there, but they didn't focus on that. But they weren't about the analysts in other newspapers and what they've been saying. And lots of them are saying, don't worry, 40% GDP. That means nothing to the man on the ground. It's a few can benefit from that. And now, look, how can we be rich, so rich and borrowing? I mean, I ain't man PC like you, man. But, I mean, make it make sense to me. Make it make sense to me.
The math at all.
That's a lot of money.
But again, and you know, we may speak of it lightly, but these things have consequences, and they have repercussions because our children will be repaying these loans. Mm-hmm. Gonna be just like how we right now repaying the loan for sugar for Skeldon that never worked one day. Mm-hmm.
And Skeldon was to produce power and all of that.
Yes, remember?
For lots of those villages there.
No.
And same people Brownwing Airport and stadium and so on. Same people.
And they lie to the people so badly. There's no money for airport and stadium. Mm-hmm. Like, why does Barry Jagdeo and his company feel that they could just run into the villages and lie to people?
Mm-hmm. Stop it.
Why?
Stop it.
Why
make it
are
right.
we allowing them to lie to us?
Make it right. Now, look story here. Ali, it was his birthday, so he's in London. And I want you all know this what new money looks like. You step out. You know? New I've never seen this before. People on the street take it out for the, you know, you step out. There's new money for you.
Yeah, there you go.
Young money, new money. But part of this is to lure investors. Right? I mean, like, you're telling me is Kaisuko y'all aiming for? Is it shrimp? The hemp?
Like I said yesterday, these guys are not serious about investors.
Big issue?
When you are serious about investors, what you do is you lay the institutional framework to welcome investors. Man, you see, I look at people's actions and stop listening to their talk.
Once investors don't go in our road, because you see, on the northern side of the city, they created a safe space, but then created an arch. So then by ripping half of them.
The point of it is, if you are serious about investment, you make your country investor friendly. A large part of being investor friendly is transparency, is accountability. We done slip 2 places on the transparency index since these boys take over.
And electricity, consistent electricity.
You can't even generate proper power. And even I say, a miler is the solution to that. There is no plan as to how you deal with the distribution system. What's the plan to deal with the distribution system? So you're generating power, but you have an archaic distribution system that can't distribute the power to people. So it's always tripping. Something always tripping.
But
the DBIS always
technology,
out.
technology has overtaken a mile. I mean, do these guys read about what Tesla doing and
They
how
don't
technology has gone forward?
care
Right?
because it means that they can't thief.
Private people putting people in space. We still talk about a mile.
They
And Fit
can.
Motilal.
They cannot thief if they go that way. They're doing all of this because that's where the money is to be made, and this is what guidance people gotta understand. So they got their throats out there. Oh, a mile of this, a mile of this. Go to Ghana and you will see that they build a whole hydro thing that don't work for half of the year because the falls dry up in dry season. Same thing happens to a mile of falls. We building another white elephant. We building another sugar, another skeleton sugar factory. What are we doing as a people? We got to put on our thinking caps. And, it brings me back to people like, what's her name? Savitri?
Savitri.
Who say, you know what, enough of this foolishness.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
And she made a decision and she turned around. You can make a decision and turn around too. And start holding these people accountable.
That's a great challenge before us.
They mustn't be able to run up in bar. I am from quarantine and it bleeds my heart to see how they go up there and they fool the people and they promise the moon and the stars and then they jump back in their cars. And they don't care. Gone. And they're going to have lobster for lunch. Meanwhile, some people there with the rice and the oil and the salt and so on. And
looking at it and wonder how we're going down the line. Wonder how we're going down the line. That's the challenge we have. That's the challenge we have. It's the great challenge of our lifetimes. Leadership, that's what it comes down to.
It comes down to leadership.
Rises and
Everything
falls.
rises and falls on leadership. And as a people, we have to demand more. So Irfan in London,
with me,
talking up, what does it mean for the ordinary Guyanese?
Right. You're strutting up yourself and
what does it mean for the ordinary Guyanese?
London, Saks Avenue and getting on by. What mean? That's the biggest issue we got. What does this mean for us?
A lot of photo ops and posturing. Meanwhile, in your country, a bus. I mean, how are we losing? Oh my God.
Yeah.
How are we losing our humanity like that?
Yeah.
We're losing our humanity like that because people become desperate and you become. It becomes a situation where it's survival of the fittest, the law of the jungle.
Desperados. And let me tell you what we'll see. Because there has been a consistent pattern. If an overseas, the president will now take charge, right? You'll see Jadvio have a press conference. That's coming up, right? And then you might see some outreaches and big things are being announced. Never comes from Irfan, right? It comes from the president.
Yeah.
Right? Irfan gone London for e-birthday. And the pretext he talking about investors and so on. And you can see a big press conference.
Yeah. Like the fourfold, what?
Fourfold part of
the transformation. Don't come from Irfan.
No.
He busy one Guyanian. I mean, it is. Sure, this thing is so painful, and sometimes, this is why we laugh so much on this program, because you can literally get into a state of depression.
Yeah.
But that does not mean that we will not continue to tackle the issues.
Yeah.
And that does not mean that Guyanese cannot song their voices.
Yeah, but Amanza, I wanna contextualize all that we say to people, because it might seem so broad and complex, but understand that there are villages in China, for instance, where our population is a village.
A village.
And that's a little village.
A small village.
Right? This 700, if it's 750,000, that's a little village. That's a province. And it's being managed effectively and efficiently. And we're struggling with a parliament in the village, right? A defense force in the village. We split up the village into 6 to 5 subsects. We call them neighborhood democratic council and municipality in that village, right? That village got a defense force, police force, it got regional security, fire services,
regional health offices, regional hospitals, all in the one village.
And
that,
struggling.
That is so important. That
we're
is
struggling.
So important. That is such an important contextualization.
Right? We're struggling. Could you imagine? We got all of that. We got Ministry of Finance, we got all of that, right? Elon Musk buying out Twitter for 40 billion. How much people is manage he money? 40 billion US dollars. Right? We got a finance ministry, we got a this, we got a that. And one man sitting down and thinking could generate wealth of hundreds of millions of US dollars.
And why can we? And we have that same potential here in Guyana. But the reality is that the PPP government thrives on making people so occupied with just surviving daily.
But this is what Glenn Lal referred to.
Right? Visionless.
You're so focused on the minutia.
You're so focused on the minutia, like,
Yeah.
how am I eating? Because right now my belly, I'm hungry.
That's
How am I
potential,
eating?
actually. And you know, there's not new, you know, is when you're an adult, you know, some things hit you that your parents went through, you didn't know. Right? Lots of night as a child, I went to bed watching 2 tennis shows in the bag. Wake up, and I had one for me, one for my sister. One for my sisters. Later on in life, I said to myself, this is what my mother eat that morning. I didn't ask myself the question there, you know. Right? The majority of my life, I've lived down in the PPP. As a child, I saw that. Went to bed with 2 tennis rolls in a bag. Wake up, that one for me, one for my sister. And years later,
what did mommy eat? It's a fact. Let me tell you, I did not appreciate the strength of my parents until I became a parent. I fell in love with my parents more when I got older. Yeah. And I was like, good God, y'all must be Superman or Superwoman. Like, how did you make it happen?
You understand me? But what I can tell you, that struggle we had, every day you had something to eat. Every day. Right? And I understood now, looking back, this is why I didn't get too much of ties. And I hate it then. This is why my mother bought me a book and she said, read for your life. Every book my mother ever bought me, that one inscription, read for your life. And it makes sense to me. That was like hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah.
Right? What nonsense is this? But I went to it. Right? And it makes sense. Outside? What's outside? People say we outside now. What's outside? Growing up?
Read for your life.
What's outside? Read for your life. Them boys are playing cricket and basketball. That's why I don't have too much appreciation for sports. Thanks to mommy. Read for your life.
Yep.
Right? What's the outside? Right? When I went outside, it was an alien planet. Right? I remember going in border market. My mother said, stand up here, don't move. The market looked huge, like a whole universe. You skate for your life, you stand up there. Don't move. Outside was this place. It's like, I see some little children navigating the streets because that's life for them. Mommy got to go to work, you got to find your way to school.
Yep.
A 6-year-old, 7-year-old, crossing the road, going to the market, running to the shop. Right? I had a book that said, read for your life. You know, when I was telling me, this how you get it out of this madness.
Yep.
This how we gonna make it out.
Yeah.
Somebody got to make it out. Right?
And these are the realities. And so
I was going to school in Manza. My mother went overseas at one point to make a better life for us. And I remember my uncle had a bicycle. He had his children. He had me on it at the back. 2 daughters, one sitting down, one stand up. Riding from south through the burial ground, heading to Ishmael, you know. Right? And you look back and it didn't make a lot of sense. Right? We whole life we can't struggle. Oh God, man. Even with opulence.
Even in the midst of opulence.
In the midst of that.
Even in the midst of opulence. But
we still gonna struggle.
You know, and this is where, and we say all of these things, a guy needs to know and to understand that better is possible, and you deserve better.
It is.
You absolutely deserve better. And you have to demand better. And that doesn't come by coveting what is your neighbor's. Right? It comes from demanding an environment where if I fail, it's not because the system is stacked against me, but it must be because of my lack of effort. I could live with that. I could live with a system like that, where if I fail, it's because I didn't try hard enough, and so on. But when you try and you work, the public servants who are going to work religiously, and they work under some of the most insensitive of bosses. They got to borrow money to go to work, to keep a job that cannot even meet their debts at the end of the month.
And that is
and
what
Irfan want to come and talk crap about what
and that's what
one
me and Martley
Guyana.
told us. We can be tenants in your own land. Right? You know, people who know about engineering say that Burbage Bridge should never been there. But it's wickedness. They're moving from New Amsterdam to impoverish that place. And that thing was raised in our program quite recently when somebody, Darren Adams said there's a road that they want to build somewhere in Region 10 that can divert commerce from Region 10. It's wickedness. That's a system
they don't want
engineer to work against you.
Linden. Because anybody who know anything about geography and economics know that if a road passes through that town, the economic activity takes up, and they want to impoverish that place. If they cannot break the spirit of Lindeners, their next aim is to impoverish.
That's how it's done.
And we gotta wake up.
That's how it's done.
We have got to wake up to these realities.
That's how it's done.
And Sherrod, we're gonna keep coming here by the grace of God.
By the grace of God. By the grace.
And bringing this information, because Guyanese, we have to wake up and we have to demand more. We have to demand more. Power concedes nothing without a demand. We got to be able to say, I want this and I want this in good order and in short time. We showed the Guyanese people how you can get 10% increase of public servants by just cutting the infrastructure works by 25%. 10% increase of public servants, free tuition for all university students, upskilling of the sugar workers. We showed how you can get the frontline workers a $200,000 bonus just by cutting the infrastructure project by 25%. And mind you, they have already said that the global supply chain issues will affect their ability to deliver. Then, my God, why not divert that money to feeding your people? But they care. These things get me I'm sorry to get very emotional this morning, but these things.
It's a reality where we are.
When you see, you get a call, MP, I have nothing to eat. I can't sit down and eat.
That's reality. That's reality, and it gets worse and worse every day while we flitting about and building jumpy birds,
Building jumpy birds.
That's
and
reality.
You look at the PPP leaders and they go about with such arrogance and such hubris,
That's
one of their ministers ain't ride a bus till he was 30 and had to carry a whole camera crew to ride the bus. And they're Guyanese that got to left South Rumville to get to school in where Joseph there? Wolford Avenue. And don't even have money to ride a bus. And they got to foot it or they got to ride. And you got somebody who pretends to be able to relate to the plight of the poor people.
I thought I had it rough when we were growing up. And it perhaps was rough. But what did you know? They had people who had it more rough. I remember leaving South and we used to patronize some of the shops in West Rambelt. And you'd go to the shop and you stand up. And the man would come and say, I can take a tennis roll. And when you buy a tennis roll, the shop owner would bust it and dab a little butter in it. Right? I can take a $20 milk. And when you buy $20 milk, they throw some sugar in the plastic bag. And I look at that and I said, I was a little grateful for my lot. Because we weren't really poor, but we weren't that poor.
And we are right back to that now.
We're right back. I think that
listen to me. We are right back to that. There are people who cannot.
We don't understand struggle in this country now.
Who can't afford milk.
I think I would be lost on our Western friends, right? You go buy $20 milk at the shop, right? And things that you can't afford the sugar. Part of $20, they throw in a half spoon of sugar, right? And that's breakfast. Some people could go at the shop and buy a whole pack of sausage, right? And people buying the chicken luncheon. I can take a tennis roll and a sausage.
Yep. And that is how they eat.
And $20 milk. That's breakfast.
Meanwhile, we got $11 billion of oil reserves off of our coast. And leaders who say, oh, you're not recognize the benefits now. Why you don't cut your salary?
Well, move out the place and let people come who can recognize the benefits.
It doesn't have to be a
And see, people,
lose-lose situation, but
people,
then them in case.
the people who abuse me now, but who take 50% increase. Them a reverse it. I might have making themselves 7% more on the 50. Then they get 57.
Right? Right? Why don't you reverse it?
Yeah, that's the
They
challenge we
haven't
have.
reversed it.
And folks, we're going to continue to confront these issues with your help, with your support. We're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue.
Absolutely.
Challenge them on all these fronts.
Absolutely. We
Yeah.
have to begin to be more proactive in the protection of our democracy. This thing requires work.
Mhm.
Martin Luther and them was marching.
God knows.
They got thrown in jail,
Right.
but far to time, beat up and that kind of thing, because they were seized with an
Mhm.
idea that as a colored person, I am human and I deserve better.
Yeah.
And as a Guyanese, we are human beings and we deserve better.
Yeah. Beginning with some sugar in this tea. I got a dream one day.
That's our program for today.
That's
Thank
our
you
time.
for joining us.
Got a dream
today.
one day.
Thank you for joining us
Mhm.
today, and go out there and make it a great day. Just be the change that you want to
Believe
see.
it or not.
Be the
can
change
do
that
it.
you want to see.
Yeah.
Speak up against wrong where you
Yeah.
see it happening.
Yeah.
The only thing required for evil to prevail is for good
Yeah.
men and women to do nothing.
And if you want to speak up, send us the information.
Send us the information. Send us the information. You know, and start demanding more of your leaders in the labor union, public servants. How y'all reaching to work?
Yeah.
Some of y'all listening to us at work and you had to borrow passage.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
But you the deducting union dues out your month.
Yeah.
Healthy. What representation are they bringing to you? That is their role as the labor union. Right? So, guys, go out there. Don't let me start back again because we could go all day. Go out there and make it a great day. And God bless you guys. Stay safe.
Go ahead and be great. Go ahead and be great. Amanda, we got to give a couple of folks a shout out before we run out.
Maureen,
Chanel,
Agnes,
Keith Dowding is there, and Juliet Benjamin,
George Bishop.
Yeah,
Good morning, George. And
Love you
Henry
guys.
Vern,
Love you guys. Real
Roxanne
bad.
Garway, Deborah Clark. Julia Benjamin says, thank you guys for the credible news. This is
Always.
You're most
Always.
welcome.
You got a chance to help us push this along. Do that for
Yes,
us.
Wills Felix.
Don't miss that.
I can't pronounce that name. Simone.
Yeah.
Charlotte Beresford and Maureen Coppin Williams, Deborah, and
MD John. Yeah, MD.
Guys, thank you for joining
Dr.
us.
John MD.
George
MD.
Bishop and Cecil Phillips.
Shirley Crichton, we see you as well. Have a great day.
Shirley, good morning. Novella Noble. Guys, have a wonderful rest of the day.
Stay safe.